Hello, we are back this week with another schmidio. Why do I sing all the time? I've actually just got back from a work trip in Amsterdam. Well, we actually went to Rotterdam, which I'll tell you about in a sec. It was amazing, but I don't know why I noticed it on this trip, but I just sing all the time and I really can't sing. I need to stop. But anyway, we are back with another live chat, journal, verbal journal, whatever they are. But yeah, I'm back. I have, just come back, literally. I've just walked through the door, I've unpacked. It's late on a Saturday night, but I've got energy. I've been eating chocolate and I've been eating crisps, which I was going to say annoyed at myself. I'm not, but I've been on a bit of a diet because not a diet weight loss fad diet. I get bloated and I keep getting tummy ache, and I've had it for years, and I've just got to the point where I'm so sick of it. So I've cut quite a lot of foods out. So I was eating a really simple diet and it was working and I felt amazing. If you want to know where it is, let me know and I'll tell you. All right, we'll do another video on it at some point probably. Anyway, we've just gone to Rotterdam and I have eaten a full milk bar like this for my dinner, and it was so nice. But anyway, I'm full of energy, so I thought I'm just gonna sit and chat while, you know, you go away, you sit on a plane, like, things are on your mind, aren't they? And I wanted to do this video anyway, and I just thought I'd do it now because I've been thinking about it. And so what I want to talk about today is I did a few videos that I've put live about how I was feeling while I was in LA, and I've been back a few weeks now. And again, like, you reflect, don't you, when you've been away? And I've just been thinking, like, what a whirlwind and what a madness LA was, because I think I told you all, but while I was out there, I just didn't feel great. I didn't feel good in myself. I didn't feel confident. I felt a bit lost, if I'm being honest, like, looking back. And it's such a cycle of emotions. So basically, I'm going to talk about, like, solo holidays and solo traveling because I feel like they're so judged on. And when I booked LA is somewhere that I've always wanted to go. I think I mentioned it in another video, but I've always wanted to go. It has been the top of my bucket list. I've never been able to afford it. I've never had the opportunity to go. And I just thought, well, I'm in a position where I can afford it right now. I'm gonna go. Like, it's been the top of my list. None of my friends really want to go, so I'm just gonna go on my own. So I booked it and I felt really, like, hyped, really energized. And then when I, like, was telling people, like, people were like, have you got any holidays coming up? You know, you chat about it when summer's approaching. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to LA. And I felt so embarrassed to tell people that I was going on my own. And now I'm a bit like, why did I feel like that? It's so silly because a lot of my friends go on solo holidays, but they do Europe, really. And one thing I have learned, which I will talk about in a second, is, like, you can be too ambitious doing things on your own. And I'll tell you what I feel, why I think I felt the way I felt when I was in LA in a sec. But yeah, I just felt so embarrassed about telling people, and I felt like people were really judging me for going somewhere so big on my own, like as if I was a loner or as if I was a bit of a loser because I was doing this on my own, which is so stupid because that's me telling myself that. And so my first solo holiday, well, I've actually only been on one solo trip before. I do a lot of travelling on my own for work, but not for, like, personal holidays. And I went to Italy a few years ago, about 2 years ago, on my own, and it was honestly the most, like, refreshing, revitalising, re-energising holiday I think I've probably ever been on. And because you obviously get a lot of downtime when you're solo travelling because you're on your own. So unless you're, like, partying or whatever on your own, you kind of tend to have a way slower pace because you're not, like, adhering to everybody's needs as well. So I loved it. But yeah, LA, I think looking back, I think I kind of bit off more than I can chew, which I take as a positive now that I'm home and I can see what I couldn't see when I was there, if that makes sense. Because I think I said it in the video, I'll have to watch it back, but I just felt really lost. I felt really isolated. I felt really overwhelmed, and I think that was it. I think I was just really overwhelmed. Like, I can't explain. I actually still can't really get over it. Like, LA is huge and everything's different. Like, I've been to a lot of different countries. I've been to India, I've been to Africa, I've been to Cape Town. I know Cape Town's in Africa, but I've been to different parts of America, and nowhere is quite like Los Angeles. Like, it's massive. You can't begin to think or explain like the sheer volume of it. But also everything's different. Like, the people are different, but there are also, it's like the vast amount of the types of people, if that makes sense. So there's like finance bros, but then there's like actors, then there's celebs, then there's just like super rich, then there's like rich kids, then there's like athletes, there's homeless and poverty. And I know there's a lot of that like in London, for example, but it's like the sheer scale that it's on, it's huge. You just can't, I can't quite put it into words. It just wasn't, it wasn't what I expected, but I just didn't expect to feel like that. I expected to feel like really energized when I was there, and I just felt overwhelmed. I was like, this shit's too big for me. And so exactly that, like, I think I'd bitten off more than I can chew, and I think I just completely overwhelmed myself. And so the learning that I took from LA is, it's absolutely fine to do things on your own. Like, I do, as I do these videos, you'll get to know me, but I do so much on my own. Like, I eat out on my own. I've actually gone back to therapy to try and like reconnect and reintegrate myself into society, because I feel like I'm so independent that it's kind of a bit counterproductive now, but story for another day. But I do think that the lesson in going to LA on my own has been that there's such a fine line between being alone and being lonely. And I think what I was feeling in LA was overwhelmed, not to keep repeating myself, but also lonely. My voice is going, which is not good when I'm sat talking to a camera. But yeah, feeling alone and feeling lonely, two completely separate things. And so I just, yeah, I think I'd bitten off more than I can chew. But actually a really good lesson, and what it's made me want to do when I've come back home is like really make more of an effort with my friends, or to reconnect with people, or to chat more with people at work or whatever, and like kind of build stronger bonds with people, because like I said, I do everything on my own. And so everything you do has a lesson, doesn't it? But that was mine from LA, and I think it's so cool. Like, I'm definitely not saying don't travel on your own. I just think there is a really fine line of like how far you push it. Because yeah, LA was, honestly, it was amazing. It was the most insane trip. I loved it. I met new friends when I was there, which, we're talking about being lonely, but I never really meet new people like that. And so it was incredible. Like, the experiences I had was incredible, and I would 100% go back. But while I was there, I was feeling very lost and very sad. And it was a lot, but I did have I'm making it sound like I didn't have an amazing time. I did. It was just a little intense the way I felt at times, you know. But like, having said all of that, I do think it's a really good thing to travel on your own. I think you learn so much about yourself. I think, like, I went to therapy. I will do once I've done this like course of therapy, I'll do a video on it and like what I've learned and stuff, because yeah, I've gone back just to really focus on connection and connecting with people. And what my therapist said, Courtney, if you used to listen to my podcast, she's actually on this YouTube channel, if you scroll down a bit, she's really good. But what she said is, your part of your nervous system is shutting down because you're not connecting with yourself. So there's times where you don't know how you feel. And I actually relate that back to doing things on your own, because I think eating out on your own, or like, honestly, going on holiday on your own is one of the best things you can do to like reconnect with yourself and listen to yourself and just really like figure out what you want. I feel like you learn a lot about yourself when you do a big thing like going on holiday on your own. And I think there's so many benefits, like just to come back from somewhere feeling completely refreshed. Like, we all live in a rat race, especially like if you're like me and you live in the city, and you've got like a really fast-paced career. It can get, life can be intense, and you really forget about yourself, and you forget to like just sit down with yourself sometimes. And so solo traveling, like, there's so many benefits that come out of that in terms of reconnection. How many times can I say connection in one video, but here we go. And even like just the conversations you'd have, and like being away from your phone when you're on holiday on your own, or reading a book, or time, like we never have time. So I highly recommend it. And actually I've noticed a lot more of my friends going on solo holidays, and even I've been getting my hair lasered at the minute, and the girl who does it, she's just gone on a holiday on her own, and she said it was amazing, and it was the first time she'd ever done anything like that. However, I said it at the beginning of this video, sorry, my nose is really itching. I do feel like there's quite a lot of judgment around going on holiday on your own. I feel like people who, oh, this is going to sound tremendous, please don't come for me, but I feel like people who are in like long-term relationships, I say that, but I've got a couple of friends who are in long-term relationships who also go on holiday on their own, which I think is really cool. But people who, yeah, are in long-term relationships, or maybe think like people like me, who are really into like self-development and reinventing yourself, are a bit woke. Like, I do think sometimes it's like, or people just wouldn't dare to do it, and so they judge you because you're doing something that is out of their norm, which is completely fine. But I do think it's like looked at as a bit strange, and I really want to try and change that, because it's honestly, it's one of the most uplifting things you can ever do, to like go to another country on your own and explore on your own is actually quite remarkable. It's so remarkable. But it is like, one of the girls I met in LA said to me, she was like, do you realise what you're doing here? I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you've just travelled 12 hours on a plane on your own to come to the destination that is the top of your bucket list, all because you wanted to. Like, that's really cool. And I was like, I've literally not thought about it, I just wanted to come, so I came. But people don't dare to do stuff, and like, well, it's part of living your life, isn't it? And you don't want to look back and be like, oh, I regretted doing this and I regretted doing that, just because you were worried about what other people thought you were, I don't know, you were a loser because you were going on holiday on your own, or I don't know, you didn't have the balls to actually do it. Like, I just think sometimes you've got to take the plunge, and it's okay if you go and you don't enjoy it, and it's also okay if you go and you love it and you never want to go on holiday with anyone else ever again, because I totally understand that. But I do think sometimes you've got to like really get past the judgment and what other people will think of you, because I think it holds me back so much, just judgment, or what I think people will think of me. And actually, when you deep it, or when you get out of your own head, no one's really judging you, and also, who cares? Like, it's not their life, it's yours. And so I just think sometimes you've got to drown out the noise of other people, you know. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to do a little video, because I think reflection's so good, isn't it? Like, when, I think I said it at the beginning, but I've been home like maybe 2.5, 3 weeks now, around that. And honestly, I look back, and so many people have said to me, like, how was it? Like, was it amazing? And I'm like, do you know what it was? It was incredible. And I've come back feeling so, not reconnected with myself, but so, like, I back myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but I feel like I'm like realigned with myself. That's it. That feels like the right phrase. Like, I feel like I'm completely realigned with myself. I feel like I'm really proud of myself for doing something. I met so many people out there, and I can't believe it, because I never meet anyone new, you know. Like, my friends have been my friends for ages, and I met like a couple of girls who we talk loads, and then I met a couple of guys as well. And we just like hiked and stuff, or like went for a drink or whatever, and it was so nice. And one of the guys actually from Paris, he's coming over next weekend, which will be really cool. We're going for dinner and just like hanging out and stuff. But I just think if you don't put yourself out there, you don't try it, like, you would never know. And so whether I like felt crap while I was there, I still had a really good time. And I think the reason I felt crap was just purely because I way threw myself in at the deep end. So it has honestly taught me so much. But I just wanted to share that with you all, because I think there'll be a lot of people in a similar situation where they want to solo travel, but they daren't, or they might not know how to, like, or if it's safe. And I can do a video on tips as well. But I think like when I've gone, I've just done my day stuff as normal, and I've just done things that I'm comfortable with, like eating out. I love going out for breakfast on my own. I do it here pretty much every weekend. And lunch I kind of just grabbed and go, like grab and go lunch. And dinner, I didn't go for dinner on my own at all, because that's not for me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't feel comfortable doing that here, and I definitely don't feel comfortable doing that in LA. So I kind of just like grabbed people when they were available, went out with people when they were available, or I just got like takeout and sat at home, or what's it called? Room service, and I had a great time. I love a late night. Like, honestly, it's like 11:30 now. That's so late for me. I do not stay up this late. I go to bed at 10:30, absolute max latest. And I did the same in LA, and it was amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to share, like, no judgment. If you want to go on solo holidays, you go on solo holidays and have the best time and live your best life. And if you are worried about it, or you're worried about people judging you, or you're worried about being safe while you're out there, then let me know and I can help, because I do a lot of shit on my own, and I personally really enjoy it, and I think everyone should. I strongly believe that everyone should be an independent person, whether you're in relationships, whether you're in like a really solid friendship group. I really, really strongly believe that regardless of your situation, you should be able to hold your own and be your own person and do things on your own as an adult. So yeah, that was just a bit of a brain dump on reflection since LA, but I hope it's helped. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and yeah, I will see you all next week. I love you.